Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a video from Geography Geek. This video is in relation to a Tartaria. And if you don't know what Tartaria is, essentially Tartaria is this quote unquote mythical kingdom that appeared on maps in the northern Russian area, the northeastern Russian area, and it's presumed to be this grand missing mythological advanced culture, this kingdom that is no longer in existence, but it still appeared on a lot of older maps. There's a lot of conspiracy theories around Tartaria as well, like how it was actually the Tartarians that built the Great Wall of China. Because if you go and you look at the Great Wall of China, you can see in specific spots where instead of the wall facing outward, where you get the arrow slits and the way the ramparts up into the Great Wall of China, it's actually facing inwards into China. So a lot of a lot of conspiracy theories have popped up about, well, it was actually the Tatarians that built it to keep the Chinese, or whatever the culture was called. I'm pretty sure just Chinese, right? Whatever the culture was called back then, inside of China. So yeah, and I mean, if you go even deeper into it, people talk about Tartarians being something like akin to an Atlantis style, advanced, culture from thousands and thousands of years ago, and how a lot of modern culture and people originated from Tartaria. But again, conspiracy theory, mythos, stuff like that. But what is not conspiracy theory is it did appear on maps for a very, very long, specific period of time. And I'm hoping Geography Geek here will explain a little bit about Tartaria and why it appeared on the map. Like I said, I only know the bare minimum of it, so that's why we're watching this video today. Anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. If you want to watch the video directly, the link will be in the description down below, so make sure to go there, give it a watch, give it a like, go on and so forth, right?
From the 16th to the 18th centuries, hundreds of maps depicted a vast region in Asia labeled as Tartaria, or Tartary. By the
Tartary.
mid-19th century, however, this label had largely disappeared.
Oh, look at that. Hindus. Hindoos. And then Tibet was spelled Thibet. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Look at this map I purchased from raremaps.com. It's a 1624 map titled Places of the East Occurring in the Holy Scriptures, Martyrology, and Other Histories.
1624, huh? We have, and that's one thing to note. If you look here on the map, that's what's interesting about it is it has South America, it has Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, a severe lack of Australia, but what is this giant landmass to the south, I wonder? Ooh, is that Antarctica, even though Antarctica wasn't discovered until much, much later? And where's Australia? Also, there's land up to the north as well. That's interesting. I didn't see that on here. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Places of the East Occurring in the Holy Scriptures, Martyrology, and Other Histories. The map shows the route of Abraham from Ur to Shechem, the wandering of the children of Israel, and the pyramids of Egypt. But most important to this video is Tartaria is labeled, with several depictions of its inhabitants.
Now, there are Tartar people, like an actual Tartar culture, and ethnic group. But typically, when people think of Tartaria, it's separated from that ethnic group.
This map wasn't just created by anyone. It's by Abraham Ortelius, the creator of the first true modern atlas. Other respected cartographers of the time also included Tartaria on their maps. So surely it wasn't just made up. But where did Tartaria go? Who were its inhabitants? And could this be traces of a lost empire? This video will cover the conventional history behind the name, as well as the modern conspiracy theory that it was an advanced
Oh my
civilization
God.
that spanned the globe and has since been covered up.
That's crazy. This has to be an AI generated image, right? That's pretty cool, though. I like that. I like the thought of it. Like, this is the type of like conspiracy theory that I like, right? Like advanced cultures and civilizations that are no longer here, Atlantis and so on and so forth. Like how the Egyptian people, actually built the pyramids and the Sphinx 30,000 years ago rather than 2,000 years ago, or 4,000 years ago, however many years ago it was. That's the kind of conspiracy theory that I really enjoy.
The name Tatar first applied to a group
Tatar, it's Tartar. I'm pretty sure Tartar.
in the Mongolian plateau. But after the rise of the Mongolian Empire and the absorption of the group into the empire, the name became associated with the Mongols. Some sources show that Mongols called themselves Tatars early in the empire's history, but the name fell out of favor within the group after the first few decades of the Mongol Empire's expansion. But Mongols were called Tatars most commonly in Europe. It's been proposed that Mongols were initially known to Europeans as Tatars because the people known as Tatars led the fight west before the main body of Mongol cavalry arrived. Many Christians in Europe
Interesting.
initially thought the Mongols might be a Christian nation, or at least allies. This belief was partially rooted in European legends about a powerful Christian king known as Prester John, who was believed to rule a great kingdom in the east. But is more
I don't know. I don't know anything about this. This is interesting. The Nubia is over here. Nubia's in Africa.
information came in about the Tatars, beliefs and theories about this mysterious group began to change. A letter from a Hungarian bishop to the Bishop of Paris concerning the Tatars in 1257 reads, I write back to you about the Tatars. I ask them about their belief, and in a few words they believe nothing. They began to tell me that they come out of their own country to conquer the world. On foot they can do nothing, because they have short legs and long bodies. They are better archers than the Hungarians, and they have stronger limbs. In whatever manner they invade a country, they slay the inhabitants except the children, whom Genghis Khan, their lord, which is interpreted as King of Kings, marks with his seal, burning them on the face.
Whoa, that's crazy. Did the Mongols really burn people on their face as a mark? Ouch. That's like
The
a
stories of Prester John moved to Africa,
really
and many
brutal
Christians
branding.
began to believe the Mongols or the Tatars were sent by God to punish them. The terrifying tales of the Mongol and their allies' brutality during the invasions had led to the shift from Tatar to Tartar, as Europeans
Oh,
associating the invaders with Tartarus, the deep abyss in Greek mythology, where the
really? Is that what? Is that where it comes from? Oh my God.
wicked were punished, began to link them to this hellish realm. But the name's use continued to evolve. After the establishment of the Golden Horde in the mid-13th century, the ruling elite of the Golden Horde were primarily Mongols, but the population they governed were ethnically diverse, including many Turkic-speaking peoples. Over time, the Mongol rulers of the Golden Horde adopted Turkic languages and culture, and the empire itself became increasingly Turkicized. The name Tatar became associated with the ruling class, and later the broader population under the Golden Horde's control. Although the original
Wow.
Mongols had been the ruling elite, they were absorbed into the Turkic-speaking populations, and by the time of the Horde's decline, the Mongol legacy was more closely associated with the Tatars. After the
Wow.
Golden Horde
Okay.
fragmented in the 15th century, several successor khanates emerged. The people of these khanates were often referred to as
This
Tatars.
is hold on. This is a super interesting map. Look how detailed this is. Wiki user a Byzantophile slash sandbox. I really like the look of this map.
Even though they were a mix of Turkic, Mongol, and other groups. As modern maps took form, Tartaria was often included, such as on a 1570 world map from what is considered the first modern atlas, though it appears to represent only a region in what is now eastern Russia.
Yeah.
But on many
Okay.
maps, the name covered
Grand Tartaria. Whoa. Oh wow, look at this. This is so cool. They even have Korea here. And they have Hokkaido being a part of Tartaria as well. Whoa, okay.
A much larger area,
That's
sometimes
cool.
extending across vast uncharted lands, at least to Europeans, in northern and central Asia, reaching from the Caspian Sea in the west.
What's really interesting here as well is they don't have like Finland or Sweden or Norway mapped. Huh.
To the Pacific Ocean in the east, and stretching from Siberia in the
Oh,
north
I see. It's supposed to be Asia. It says right here, the cartography of Asia. Okay. And then in India is just Inde, Inde. Oh, it even says Emperor de Mughal, Mughal Empire.
north
Huh.
to the Himalayas in the south. But Tartary was not a political entity, at least not in this sense. It was a European invention that lumped together different groups Mongols, Turkic peoples, and various nomadic tribes under one vague term. While parts of this region had been under the control of the Golden Horde or its successor states, much of the land labeled as Tartary was never part of the Golden Horde. Tartary had become more of a cartographic shorthand for lands in the east, rather than a precise political or ethnic designation. European cartographers and map readers acknowledged that this region was poorly understood, unlike other parts of Asia, such as the Middle East and India, which had more direct contact with European powers. Europeans began subdividing Tartary into different sections, adding prefixes based on the ruling power or geographical location. Siberia was called Great Tartary or Russian Tartary. The Crimean Khanate was Little Tartary. Manchuria became Chinese Tartary, and Western Central Asia was known as Independent Tartary.
This is really interesting. I didn't know this at all. I didn't know that this was such a designated naming for the area. That's really cool.
By the 17th century, largely due to Catholic missionary writings, the term Tartar specifically referred to the Manchus and the lands they ruled as Tartary. As European exploration and knowledge of Asia expanded, particularly through the Russian Empire's conquest of Siberia and Central Asia, the use of Tartary began to fade from maps, and more accurate geographical terms replaced the vague concept. But the term Tatar persisted. After the fall of the Golden Horde, it was used by Russians and Europeans to describe the people of its successor states that had undergone ethnogenesis from the 13th to the 17th centuries
Little
to form
Tartary.
distinct groups. Today, groups like the Volga Tatars and the Crimean Tatars, and several other Turkic speaking ethnic groups, trace part of their heritage to
So
the
this is actually here in yeah, modern day Ukraine. Look at that. Ukraine is even here. Ukraine is even right here. That's really interesting. So this is the Crimea Peninsula, right? And then we have this is Ukraine, and I guess this right here is what, like Donbass? Oh, Belgrade. Huh. Oh, here. What is this? This is the Circassy Tartary. Dude, I love old maps. I gotta get me some old maps. That's so cool.
Golden Horde. Modern use of Tatar refers specifically to these groups. Though not a single unified group, Tatars maintain distinct identities, languages, and cultural traditions within their regions.
Hmm.
As of the 2010 Russian census, Tatars make up approximately 3.8% of Russia's population,
That's a decent
around
amount.
5.3 million people, making them the largest ethnic group within
Kazan, Republic of Tartarstan. I don't know. I don't know anything about Tartarstan.
Russia after ethnic Russians. The majority of Tatars are concentrated in the Republic of Tatarstan, an autonomous region within the Volga Federal District.
Ah, it's an autonomous region, so it's not actually its own country.
Most of the Tatars in this area are, of course, Volga Tatars. But the drama surrounding this name isn't over. In recent years, a conspiracy theory has emerged. Although the details and the story vary,
Now
the
see,
general
now
claim
see, this is what I know a little bit more. This conspiracy theory.
is that Tartary was not just a geographical region, but the center of an
It's even so much so to the point where like Vladimir Putin believes and talks about this conspiracy theory. So And I don't know if he's just doing that to prop up, like it's like Russian propaganda or something. But yeah, even he talks about this conspiracy theory.
Advanced, technologically sophisticated global civilization that has since been erased from history. Proponents of this theory argue that evidence of Tartaria's existence has been systematically covered up by governments and mainstream historians. They point to grand buildings and monuments around the world as proof of this erased empire. According to the theory, Tartaria was destroyed by a massive mud flood, or deliberately wiped out by world powers in the 19th and early 20th centuries. They believe the remains of Tartarian architecture were either buried or repurposed. The Tartaria conspiracy likely stems from a general fascination with lost civilizations, combined with the idea.
This is Atlantis here. So the this is in the Pacific Ocean. So this is the lost continent of Mu as well. Mu. There's also a mythological continent here, but why is Africa over here? This is weird. I don't know. Maybe this is like, you know what? We look at this map and you think, okay, yeah, this is like a made up continent. But the more I look at it, this just might be Australia. Because look, we have the Australian continent island here. We have, in the middle there's those old mountains. And then over here we have New Zealand. It's called Atlanticus on here. That's weird. Whoa, okay. But yeah, there's like the island of, or the continent, lost continent of Mu is one where it's said to be a giant landmass in the Pacific Ocean. And then if you're looking at the Atlantic Ocean and people say equate Atlantis to that, typically they're like, oh, well, the Azores were pushed up higher back before during the Ice Age, so there's a continent around the island, the Azore Islands. I don't know. I find it very interesting. I find it very, very interesting.
Of conspiracy theorists like Nikolai Levashov and Anatoly Fomenko. Levashov claimed that an ancient, advanced Russian civilization was deliberately erased by Western powers to suppress Russia's greatness, blending mysticism with conspiracy.
See, this is what
Fomenko's
Putin
new
says.
chronology reinterprets history, arguing that much of it, including the rise of Rome, was falsified to diminish Russia's historical significance. Proponents of the Tartaria conspiracy often cite documents like a CIA document that was released in 1999 that I'll leave a link to, referring to the erasure of Tatar history by Russia as proof of the existence of a vast Tartarian empire, without realizing they are confusing the history of a minority ethnic group with the concept of a grand empire. Additionally, they point to old
Whoa.
maps as further evidence beyond them just using the name Tartaria as proof.
Yeah, this is California. That's so funny. Now, is this because of Baja California, or did they just not know? I'm assuming they came across Baja California and just assumed it split all the way up.
This often includes other intriguing geographical features, such as the island of California, whose supposed existence I covered in detail in another video.
Might have to watch that one.
Another common argument is that the level of detail on these maps would have been
Whoa.
impossible with the technology supposedly available at the time. However, this perspective overlooks the well-documented exploration accounts and sources used by cartographers. You can pick any U.S. state, head to today's sponsor raremaps.com, search by year, and trace its development.
These maps are so expensive. Look at this. Atlas, Civ, Cosmographic, Mediterranean, de Fabric Mundo et Fabritica Figure, Edtio Decimo. $95,000. English edition, Nova, Tosta, Terrarium, Orbis, Geographic, AC, Hydrographica, Tabula, Hin, Hondio, 1630. $19,000. Dude, this is wild. That's crazy.
The theory also overlooks the numerous inaccuracies found on many maps from the age of exploration, which were often corrected over time or even contradicted one another, despite being produced during the same period. Another central claim of the Tartaria conspiracy is that millions, if not billions, of records documenting this supposed advanced civilization were destroyed, yet somehow thousands of maps survived. Though I'd rather read about historical conspiracies and wild theories than live through them, the Tartaria conspiracy does, in a way, make me view these maps as more than just historical artifacts. Unlike many maps that reflect the flawed yet fascinating stories and thought processes of their time, maps of Tartary feel like they are part of a story that's still being written. Even if the
Yeah, that's pretty
stories,
cool.
theories, and depictions these maps present aren't entirely accurate, they continue to shape how many of us interpret history today. To me, these maps of Tartary also represent how we're not so different today than when these maps were created centuries ago, still blurring the lines between what we experience through our senses, what we fear, and intriguing tales to help us make sense of this world. Before I end this video, thank you to raremaps.com for sponsoring this video. I've been purchasing maps from them since before they were a sponsor, and as stated before, I own a map with Tartaria labeled. You can search the word Tartaria, but also scroll through world and regional maps and you'll see more. If you're
Even some of these like less expensive ones, $200, $400, and this is for 11 by 8. That's like a sheet of paper.
into
Wow,
collecting maps related
I
to
didn't
other
realize.
regions or themes, you're also in luck because they have over 10,000 maps in their inventory. These are authentic antique maps, not reprints. Again, that's
Oh,
raremaps.com. Thank
I guess it makes sense if these things are hundreds of years old, right? They got to be worth quite a bit.
you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I like this video. This was a very fun video. I learned a lot about Tartar that I didn't quite previously know before. Yeah, yeah. I knew there were Tartar people, but I didn't realize that a lot of the Tartar people are named thus because of like the perception of Tartar, and then I didn't know that they when the like the designation of Tartaria was like they even like started splitting it up into different like segments. I just thought it was like some weird little conspiracy theory, but interesting. I liked it. I like these types of videos. I really do. Okay. Let's read a couple comments. I just want to see what some of the comments have to say. As an ethnic Tartar, it hurts my ears whenever Tartar is used in connection with us. It's where tartar sauce It's where tartar sauce originated from. Never go full Tartaria. Correction, Calvary, not or cavalry, not Calvary. Different word. I may be pronouncing tartar wrong, which is a bit more embarrassing. It's totter, but I'm saying more like toter. Hmm. Wow, a real historical video on Tartaria. It's not showing pictures of Chicago World Fair. Chicago World Fair. I don't know. Someone should link this to the Tartaria subreddit. Those guys think everything was built by Tartaria or something like that. Russian Atlantis is so weird. Um, and straight separating Saklam Island from continent is still called Tartar or Tartar Strait. It was called so because French explorer Le Peressu still thought in the middle of whatever century that is that those vast lands called Tartaria. Thank you for the most excellent video. Amazes me how many crazy theories are being expounded on the internet. When I was a boy, my family was fortunate enough to have a friend, a man from Czechoslovakia, who had traveled throughout much of this region. He always used the term Tartar. He had great respect for the people who still mostly tribal. My Uber driver one day was trying to convince me of this, and it took everything in me to just nod and go, "Oh, really?" Listen, you can espouse the conspiracy theory, and you can believe that the conspiracy theory is fake, but there's still something innately fun about it's like that world building little itch in the back of your brain, right? Like you want to I don't know. You just want to think of these fantastical, mythical things. I don't know. That's the way I look at it, right? Um, it's just what people called Siberia. Tataria is used to refer to the people living there. I like conspiracies, but this one never made sense. If there was an empire that big and somehow way more advanced, how would they get wiped out? And how would a single mud flood cover the entire empire but not destroy everything else? I mean, mud floods are devastating. It floods over the region, and then everything's just buried under tens and dozens of feet of mud that hardens and becomes the new topsoil. So you really have to like dig down to excavate and see anything. This is great and all, but what about Tartaria? What? I don't know. Prester John, aka the time Christian Europe convinced itself that there was a huge Christian state in the East and that will help them fight Islam. I've never heard of that before. Incredible content. Thanks, man. History is amazing. Very interesting, informative. AI Tartaria can't hurt you unless you're 12th century Europe. AI Tartaria. Tartaria thinks back to the name of the Ancient Empire's two cavalry units. Okay, guess I never made the connection before, so something to do with Central Asian steppes. I mean, that's exactly what it means, right? Okay. I have a great grandma's geography book from 1919. I'll look tomorrow. Okay, well, doesn't help us right now. Jeez. You mean Tartaria? Question mark? Yes, thank you. He must have had him like spelled wrong or something. Man, you were really working it hard to stretch it beyond 10 minutes, lol, but good work nonetheless. What? What? Chad commenter, what are you talking about? He gave a thorough explanation. This video could have been 30 minutes long. What? I actually shaved 2 minutes off the original, but thank you. I really enjoyed the video, but I see what this comment is saying. The video basically ends around 7:08. Afterwards, the video rambles. What? What do you mean? What do you mean the video rambles after 7:08? What? That's where he goes into like the this is literally where he goes into even more detail about the conspiracy theory. Okay, whatever. That comment ruined it for me. That comment ruined it for me. They didn't understand. Maybe that's because maybe this is because I was specifically going in for this content after the 7:08 mark. Okay, well, yeah. Link to this video is in the description. Make sure to go give them a watch, give them a like, give them a sub, and yeah, I will go ahead and go. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one, yeah? Take care. Goodbye.